So hello and welcome to my new video. Today I actually finally get my chemicals for Array 4 from the Mecca Direct, and it's actually quite expensive, so it's around 80 euros to get the chemicals nowadays. I think I spent a lot of the chemicals basically to the waste, which is pity, so I probably need to somehow get back to the printing because it gets scattered at the moment, so I kind of lost of the sight why I'm doing that. But in reality, I want to do the first thing, it's actually to hang out the curtain, to black out the window, and second thing, I actually want to put my 3D printer from the down below to the special thing, like special stand basically, because I don't want to calibrate it there anymore, and I actually want to move it back and forward, and this is the whole idea behind this movement. So let's get started with it and let's get working with the arrangement in the Darkrooms and unpack this package. So the problem with this setup is actually that I need to pull up the 3D printer from down there, and it's a problem because I need to remove everything from here from the top. Yes, I don't want to do it like multiple times, but I definitely want to remove the printer from the lower section of this table because it's literally like unusable. So I use it, but it's not perfect, and I'm just trying to move a little bit to the clean setup. And what additionally I want to do, I actually want to hang on the wall some shelves, because I just want to store something which is good looking, like a Yobo tanks on a shelf, and also probably store some additional, funny stuff there to a little bit make the room more livable, to have a little bit more, I don't know, small cute stuff on the walls. So the first thing what I will do, I actually will disconnect the Enlarger from the power supply, and also I will start to moving it. And the good point about the Enlargers with the stand and with the table, that this thing is liftable. This is a one big downside what I have with the interpret whatever Enlarger. First of all is the name. It's an incredibly stupid name for anyone who is not British native speaker. And the second thing is actually about this thing, that it doesn't have any type of stand. So the Enlarger, in principle, it should be a box. Ideal case, it's a box or it's a table with a basically hand, and on the hand it should be actually your Enlarger. Just copy what it actually was working for the 100 years and nobody changed it for the reason, because it's perfect. I can lift it up and I can place it. Yes, it's weight half of the ton, but like you can do this. It's not like big deal. It's not a big problem. You can easily doing that without any problems. Sometimes I'm thinking I just need a little bit wider lens because, as you can see, I cannot properly fit everything in the frame because my room is small, and I think it's like 2 meters for the camera, so I cannot fit anything more. And honestly, if unfortunately this is not the case, if my YouTube will be like popular and I have money from it, I will definitely buy the proper stand, basically C-stand, where I can hang up the camera and make more shots from this angle. It will be more interesting to watch. Otherwise, I'm a little bit limited with the space. So I'm also thinking maybe I need to rotate something, because I have all options in the world how I can set it up. I'm just thinking like this, it's more manageable in terms of like, okay, I have a placement, but at the same time, idea with the wheels for the Darkroom, it's quite nice. I always thinking that all the things which is like tools and stuff like that, they actually should be on the wheels, because if you have a wheels, you can just roll it up, lock it up, whatever you want, and you can work from the different places. This is a really good idea. I will think about it, but for now let's lift it up and place it somewhere. Oh boy, it's heavy. And yes, sometimes I'm thinking I need some kind of a new different Enlarger, but I think the Darst M605, it's such a great thing. It's metal, it's indestructible. I think to buy something like that new, it's probably 2,000 or 3,000 euros. especially in the modern economy, and it will be not better than that. So it's quite tricky. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe you need to think about it 3 times and just find a good looking exemplar. And after that, you can just refurbish a lot of stuff there. It should be optical part, filters, not optical part, but filters, they should be intact. And you also can replace them. But in principle, it's also mechanics of the filters should be actually working perfectly fine. But the rest, it's not so important, because lamp is probably dead. You need to replace the connector there. You need to replace the seals, all type of stuff like that. So keep it in mind. Nothing is perfect, but you work with something, and you need to start with something. I actually started with this Enlarger, but I still thinking like it's perfect thing. Like you don't need to replace it anyway. For you to understand the situation, this is my 3D printer, and it was actually under the Enlarger, and I want to put it somewhere there on an additional shelf, and I can move it separately and calibrate and do stuff with the 3D printer. So I need to remember how to actually unplug this thing. I think it's a few plastic clips here or something like this. Yes, it's a plastic clips like that, which is holding the whole structure together. And actually, I'm thinking about these clips because I need the same for the different project at work. I need something like that, which works to clamp the board between the So this is my boy. This is a printer what I actually received as a gift, and this is quite nice printer. I unfortunately need to modify it and buy additional stuff for this, so it doesn't really work with it anymore, I think. And I think it's a little bit too complicated for the normal user. If you ask me which printer to buy, start with the smallest bed. Don't buy the big bed that you will think like, yeah, okay, I need to print something big. You don't. So trust me, buy the smallest bed ever and start from there. This printer is actually quite nice. I printed a lot of small stuff, and this is actually one of the reasons why I learned 3D design and manufacturing in the same time. So it's a really useful thing. You think like, yeah, okay, why you need a 3D printer? But everybody is forgetting the part that is actually enabling you to learn a lot of new stuff from the manufacturing, from the technology, from the 3D modeling for the printing, modeling for the design, for the CNC also. So this is quite versatile thing. Like, keep it in mind. You never know when and how you will end up with your project. And also, what is important when you rebooting your systems is actually important to keep the list of the small things which you do, because, for example, I will probably not reach the point that I print today, which is pity. That's probably 99% of my viewers doesn't really have a space like that, like basically separate part or at least a room to actually fit the darkroom inside. And thinking about that, it's actually bring me a little bit different understanding how the thing works. So it's a lot of tools and a lot of access to the clutter actually close up your opportunity to actually create the work. Because back in the day, when I have a motivation, when I just started a channel, I actually print a lot of work, and huge amount of work I just printed on a trolley, basically, which I have here, and with the one Enlarger, which was standing directly on this trolley and basically rotating the paper by hand. And my film development was simple. I have just, even without the Yobo CPE system, I have just standard normal the suite which is heating up the thing, which is cheap, and I basically developed the best, okay, not the best, but like one of the best films in that system, and without any problems. And just think about it. Yes, I printed more, I scanned more, I done much more work with the old school scanner, with a crazy old school technology. And now I'm with all of that, with the channel, with the 2,000 subscribers. Actually, I want to celebrate that. This is one of the great part. And now I need to spend 20 minutes to clean up the clutter. Guys, learn on my mistakes. Learn on my mistakes. They will bite you at some point. For example, I have two thermometers, and one of them is crappy and second one is almost doesn't work. So like, why have two if you just need one which works? Think about it. Just do not create the clutter, especially if you're thinking, yeah, I want to cheap out on some parts, tools, chemicals, things like that. It will bite you ass later. Come on guys, just keep it in mind, keep it in mind. But okay, so let's make a cleanup. I will just a little bit clean the surfaces, and I have a few projects for 3D printer, and I have, for example, project of creating the thermometer lid for the bottles. And now I'm thinking I actually wanna measure temperature a little bit differently, or with a handgun, but I'm not sure if it's precise enough and I can find one which is good for the specs. But in principle, I wanna modify my job a little bit more to basically make a normal circuitry and basically control the PD regulator inside, and not just on-off switch, or at least a PD regulator that will basically hold my temperature perfectly fine. Because at the moment I have more problems with the thermocouple than with the rest of the things. I don't trust it, it doesn't work properly, and it's overall bad. And also plastic cylinders, they fine, but I want a glass ones. I want a glass ones, and I want to put them on a shelf because they looks good, they works good. And actually, probably I will buy the pipettes, because the pipettes is a really cool thing. Modern automatic pipette, you just use it. You just use it. And if it's for 25 milliliters, like big pipette, you can dose a lot of stuff, especially for black and white chemistry. It's crazy precise, it's repeatable, perfect use. I still have no idea why nobody using these tools in the professional darkrooms. At least I never saw it. If you have, and if you have it, just put it down in the comment below. We will all learn from you how to do stuff. But I'm just probably just cheapskating. I just don't want to invest a lot of money in a darkroom because yeah, it's a hobby. It's crazy expensive hobby, and at the time I don't really feel crazy motivated about it, as you can see. But I'm getting there. I will probably reboot, my circuitry in the brain and see how it goes from there. Let's see. I never know. Nobody knows. Finally put the Enlarger back. I think it's a struggle to put it back, but it's also a lot of junk on top of the plate, and I'm thinking I need to find a space for that. And the first rule of finding space, you actually need to remove everything somewhere in the box. And from that box, you need to sort it up, things which you want to store, and the rest actually should stay in this box. And after some time, you just throw the whole box. This is a rule. This is how it works. And otherwise, you will just get a clutter. This is just the thing. So looking on all of this mess, I actually find out that I want a silicone or rubber or any type of, liquid absorbing type of cloth table. I don't know how it's like for bars, and I want to put it on the whole table or in front of the thing. And I also probably want to protect the wall behind, because at the moment it's dirty and I don't want to splash any more stuff on that wall. So I will probably order something to just cover the whole wall, and make it a little bit more pleasant and beautiful to watch. I'm not sure. I will think about it, but at least this is one of the things what I want to do. Or metallic foil or something like this, or brick wall. I don't know. Maybe it will be fancy to have. Just drop your suggestions in the comments below. But second thing what I want to do, I want to make storage for the, for the tools and pens, and I have a good system for that. But also I want some storage for the small stuff, like I have a cutter for the edges, which is really good. And the cutter for the edge of the paper, it's nifty small stuff, but it makes your small pictures so much better. You even cannot imagine this, just night and day difference, like one small click and you actually have a completely different picture. So let's clean up all of that. I will remove all the things which I don't use and start from there. I want to connect the Enlarger, and one of the things which I want to actually do is to test the Enlarger because I have no idea if it works and if the lamp inside works. So let's do that first before I basically start to fixing additional stuff. Okay, the pilot light actually works. It means the Enlarger is alive, so I can print. So this is a really good indicator that everything is okay, so I can continue with the printing. So the next step is actually close up the window and try to make chemicals. Yes. So let's open this magic box and see what is inside. I hope everything is fine. But usually it's really fast delivery in Denmark from Germany, so everything should be okay. I have some notes, and I also have a candies inside the box, and this is really good practice for the people who are making deliveries, so you can eat it up and it's fun. So it's a 5-liter kit from the Bellini. It's in a separate box. This is how it's stored. And inside we have a manual and 2 solutions. Actually 3 solutions. So it's a stabilizer, which is the last solution. It's AB part developer. And also array 4 bleach. And also you have a manual inside, which is also quite nice and useful. And now I just want to see what's the difference between my old bottles by eye and the new bottles. And honestly, I don't really see the big difference. They looks exactly the same. Maybe solution B? No, they look absolutely exactly the same. Good question. Good question, guys. I actually have no idea what went wrong. But the color of the initial solutions, it's not the reason why I changed it. It's just because it was black when you mixed it up, which I don't like, and this is not how it should work. I'm also thinking to buy separate boxes this size for the kits of the chemicals, because I actually store all of them in one batch and I don't like this idea. So I want to store them in a small baskets like this. So I will probably invest in the baskets just like normal from supermarket. So the problem what I have here, I actually have a window. And the basic problem with the window is actually that I don't really want to block it all the time, but in the same time I want to block it from the light, especially in the evenings, because yes, it's dim light, but it's actually ruining the paper. And for that I have this non-transparent white thing, cloth for the rolly thing, which is folding up the window. and I before just taped it on top. Ideally, you need to make a frame, and ideally you probably just need to, close it up with a rim, which is actually glued on some portion of here. But guys, I don't know. It sounds like too much hassle, and I'm thinking that it will anyway never perfectly fit inside there, and I don't really like the unfoldable solutions. So far, I think this thing works fine. I will probably use this magic transparent thing to glue it to the wall. It's kind of a tape, but it's like jelly tape. It actually works fine, and I don't think I will have any problems with that. So let's tape it down and see what I will have as a result. And also the whole point, it kind of ideally fit to the window frame, and this is why I selected. But in the same time, because it's not connected to the sides, and I tried it before, I cannot say it's absolutely perfect solution. So I will try this tape. Maybe it will hold it up and not ruin the surface of the window, which I hope, because with the previous solution with the Velcros, it was actually quite horrible. I actually now thinking I have a magnets, and what if I actually tape the magnet? Really good idea. I think I need to try that. So I actually cannot find the real powerful magnets, so I found only these ferric ones, and I will try to glue them with this sticky thing and see if it's enough power to hold it on the wall. So let's try. I think the experiment will rule the whole thing off. The problem with these videos, I cannot work and talk in the same time. I honestly have no idea how people doing that, because I most of the time even thinking quietly, not even working quietly. So not sure how it works for the rest of the people. For me, it's really hard. So this is one of the reasons why I make the videos with the voiceovers before, because otherwise I'm just get stuck mentally and cannot do anything about it. Okay, 2 magnets on the wall, and let's try if it will be enough. The whole thing is not heavy, just in case. It's like whatever. It's not heavy, but the magnet's also not even close to be strong. Okay, ferrite magnets doesn't work. Not sure if this magnets will work. I think it's some fancy pants magnets. They're quite strong, but they also doesn't really hold anything. Okay. And I have a stupid idea to basically put the clamp here, but the clamp will not hold on that. So unfortunately, guys, yes, the idea is smart, but it will definitely not work. It's quite good glue. I like it because it's easy to remove. You just can roll it up and it doesn't give any residue, and basically it's a perfect solution for this type of applications. So think about it. You can buy it on a Shine for a crazy small amount of money, or you can buy from Tessa for like 20 euros or something. Think about it. It's exactly the same thing, so just buy a cheaper one. So I also have a solutions with a Velcro, and I kind of like it. It's really good solution. I'm just thinking it was a problem for me last time because my cloth, this thing, is actually was a little bit strange in terms of like I can glue it on top, but it's better to staple it on top. And this was a main problem. And also for these velcros, I like them, but the glue on them, it's just gets stuck forever. This is why I put it on a glass last time, and now I'm thinking I will just do exactly the same once again. But I'm just thinking I will reinforce it with the I will just reinforce it with the staples on this cloth. And additional option what I have, I will actually cut it in half and I will glue this thing with the glue of the tape, which is easy to remove, and I will not use the glue. I will just keep this baking paper because it's anyway hard to remove, and I will try that. So I basically make a stupid thing. I tape it on the back side of the Velcro, and I don't know what is the rules, but I will put the hooks on the wall, but I think they usually it's opposite way. I don't know. Whatever. I'm a master of my darkroom. I will do whatever heck I want. Okay, let's put it on the wall and see how it will work. So I remove the two protection things from the velcros. Now I will just glue it directly and I will staple it back to reinforce it. And voila, it kind of works. Yes, it has a problem. Yes, you have a light leaks from the side, but from 99.9% it will block. And also I have a second curtain here which will block the rest of the things. But let's reinforce the velcros on top of the material. So whatever, I cannot find a stapler, so I will just leave with what I have now, at least for today, because it's getting dark already. So it's time to start to do something. And now I will make a light test, so I will basically close the window, which helps a little bit, and in the same time I will turn off the light and check if I see anything out of the window. And for that I need to turn off the camera, because if you have a screen on a camera, basically you need to turn off everything, and at the same time you need to look around for like 3-5 minutes, and it depends on the day. I don't sure why, but for me at least, at some days I'm immediately see in the dark, but on some days it takes a long period of time to adjust for my brain to see in the dark. Yeah, this is how it goes, so let's make a check. So I tested up, it looks fine, so now I can actually finally make a solutions. And just for the purpose of my knowledge and the video also, I will make two solutions, and I will start with the old one, and also I will open the new bottles and start from that and take solutions from the new bottles and just compare the results, because I'm not sure what is the difference there and why it happens, because in reality it should not happen. But let's check if you can say that your solution is bad just based on the mixture, because as far as I remember it should be transparent, it should be not black. So once again, I cannot count properly. This is the whole problem. So I will just rearrange the whole thing in the percentage, because I completely cannot understand this thing, like put 4,000 milliliters, like I cannot recalculate. Unfortunately, my brain doesn't work this way. So I will just calculate it to the basically normal percents, how much percents you have in the final solution, so final volume of the solution, because otherwise like it's get crazy. So I want a 5 liter of the solution, so I need to put something there with the volume and top it up. this is how the chemistry works. It doesn't work opposite way, guys. Like, come on, it's a little bit strange for me. Maybe I have a different education. I don't know. This is just a little bit strange for me. So basically, if I want to make 100 milliliters, I need a little bit different math here. So I cannot just, divide everything and just add some whatever percentage wise. So basically, if I want to make 100, I need to fill it up somehow. I actually need a dose part A to the solution, and for the part A I need to take actually 10% of the final volume. So if I want 100 milliliters, so I need a 10 milliliters of the solution. So I basically will use the same syringe for the 10 milliliter and just fill it up completely, and I will have a 10 milliliter solution. So this is my milliliters here. I will put some more, and I will put the final 10 milliliters of the second solution because it's exactly the same volume. Once more. Solution B. Ten milliliters of solution B. And it magically works. I have no idea what I did last time incorrectly. Honestly, I don't know. But the thing is, this is a whole thing what I don't understand about the chemistry. So basically I write down the 10% of each of the final solution here. So basically if I want to prepare 250 milliliters, I need a 25 milliliters of each and top it up to 250. And this is how it works. So basically it's just easy math. Easy math, how to do it. And if you want to just not top it up, but add the water, you know the quantities. You can just divide them later if you want. But topping it up, especially if you have a volumetric flask, it's much better. It's much better overall, overall for all chemical purposes. So I think it just really depends how you make the solutions, how roughly and how quickly you want to make them. I'm not sure, but just keep it in mind. This is one of the things that I struggle with. I'm not sure why. If somebody have exactly the same problem, just share it in the comment, because sometimes I don't really understand it, because maybe it's enrooted in me in some chemical classes from school, from chemical education, but I don't really understand this. It's the same thing for baking. I don't understand the baking percentage. Just I can't. Sorry about that. 200 milliliters of water, and now I need a 25 of the solution A. .25 milliliters of solution A. Wash the thing. Put everything to the waste several times, because it should be clean. You should not mix the concentrates in the same flask. And better is use a second one, but unfortunately I do have for the same volume. This is also one of the things. I'm just cheap out. I just need to buy more of them. But in the same time, why not? You can do it like that. And 25 of the next solution. Yeah, and usually don't put the chemicals back, but this is old solution. I'm also thinking, yeah, it's dead. This is why I bought the new one. But now I see it's actually perfectly fine. And let's shake it up, and I want to see on transparency if it's actually bad, good, whatever happens with the solution. Yeah, this is how the solution should look like. It's actually perfectly transparent, really good solution for the development. Ask me last time what I did wrong. I cannot answer. Sorry guys, maybe I messed up the concentrations, maybe I did something, but what I know for sure, I spent additional 80 euros for the chemicals, which I don't need, because these chemicals will be here with me for a long period of time. Next guy is a bleach fix, and to make it I also put the instructions. I need a 50 milliliters of this solution, so it's 20%. So it's exactly the same trick. You just have water, you put the water for 200 milliliters in the solution, you just washed it up the cylinder to not intermix them, but they will intermix anyway because this is roll-to-roll chemistry, and it's okay to mix left to right a little bit at some point. So I put the 200 there. And I need a 50 milliliters of the bleach fix, so basically full flask, full cylinder, what I have here. Try to not spill it, this is quite nasty stuff, and work with the gloves. And usually if you have a lot of concentrate and you wanna, be professional here, just rinse it back and forward several times to remove the oil drops from the walls. This is just normal chemical practice. This is what I usually do in the lab back in the day. Nowadays I'm more in the microelectronics and less in a chemical lab, but I still have the skills. So let's heat it up. I think I will top the bath with the water because it doesn't really have any much left, and also my thermocouple again doesn't really work properly, which I hate. So I will use additional thermometer to actually measure my temperatures. Yeah guys, this is how it works. Unfortunately it's shaky to start up the darkroom again, kind of from scratch, but I'm trying. I'm trying all my best. Let's see how it will go later. And honestly, task for today, I want to load some negative and actually make one test print. So for that I need to disassemble the whole assembly for the film development, and I need to find the lid with the cup. And everybody actually asking about the lid with the cup and what drum I'm using and which drums and like whatever, all of these questions. I honestly have a manual for the drums. It's in German, it's somewhere on my shelves. If somebody need it, you can ask. I will probably put it somewhere in a coffee or whatever, something. And the thing is, this is Yobo with the old model number. It's exactly the same what you can buy today without any problem, and the problem can occur only with this insert. So only one difference in this insert inside. So this insert for the film development, it's a little bit different the insert than what I'm using for the paper. It's not really necessary. You can use it without it. So I just happens to have two leads because it was much cheaper to buy additional tank than to buy the lead. Yes, I know, but this is how it goes. And the cup is actually looks like this. It's just a cup which is inserts it's inside here, and when you tilt it up, it's in a horizontal way, it's basically start flowing the chemicals for you. No problem whatsoever. I think it's quite good thing if you can buy it. If you cannot buy it, I think it's not really necessary. So it's not like crazy critical for your process. Maybe it's good, but it's not crazy critical. So the next step, what I want to do, I actually need to find or buy new lab journal. And I always thinking that you don't really have anything structured which you can use for the, for the normal storage of the test prints with the information and so on. And I'm thinking, yeah, I need to probably arrange something and do something. But I'm thinking like, yeah, okay, I will just make the pages and I will probably buy the envelopes and store it somehow like this. Or as I did it before with a tape. But I need a relatively big thing where I put the notes and put the materials there. So it's quite nice, but in the same time, I'm just thinking I need some more elegant solution because I want it tactile. And for example, I want to write down with the fountain pen inside, and it should be kind of binding all the things together. And also, yes, I think I also want to write in Russian there because, like, why not? It's easier for me. You don't care, you don't read it, nobody actually look at this thing. But in principle, it will be much easier for me in future and in storage. And yeah, it's kind of a legacy. I also have old journals, and sometimes I get sloppy. I don't follow them. I don't do anything about them. So, but yeah, you know how it goes. So, okay. I will probably load the 35mm film from the Etretat from my trip because I also want to print it and I want to test it. But I also have a lot of things from the Porto, which I even don't remember what I have there. I have film from Lisbon, and I'm just thinking what exactly I wanna shoot and print, because in this folder I have a Portugal, and maybe I need to start from here. I'm not sure. This is usually black slate because I have no idea what is on this film. I just only have scans and I just need to figure it out. And probably in future I need some kind of a method, just order one sheet of paper of the shots on this thing from the film, because yeah, it takes time, and it's much better for storage if you know the pictures. And with the digital test printing, it costs basically nothing, but in the same time you can just order, the a little bit bigger frames to see them, which is also nice. And this is what I probably will do in future. Not sure, but this is one of the ideas what I have in my mind. But I anyway want to start with the Etretats, and it's not in this folder. And as you can see, guys, I have quite some work which is unprinted, because most of the printed stuff I marked with the special tape, and most of this stuff is actually unprinted. And as I said before, I actually switched for the transparent sleeves for one reason, and this is one is from print file. And one of the reasons is actually if the paper one gets wet, it gets permanently stuck to the film, which is horrible. So you cannot unwash it from there, and it's ruining the film. Stop using this outdated technology. I don't understand why we're still discussing this thing. Just buy the plastic one. They will store forever. Like, it's no problem whatsoever. And it's also much easier, to just navigate, look. I don't need a special ultra bright light to see what is actually inside this film. And it just works without any problems. It just works. I really like this solution and I will probably stick to this solution. And also I really like these smaller folders, and I honestly stop caring if they like aligned or the same or if they look the same. So just shoot and fold it up and store it in chronological order, and it's much better. So I always put the date when I develop the film. I don't care where I shot the thing, because like whatever, like doesn't matter. For me at least, it's not a really important thing. Yeah, and I will start with loading some film from here and see what I can find, which is best what I wanna. So I will actually print my portrait, because I don't really have my portraits, especially in my apartment, and I think this is one of the good opportunities to start doing that. And this is really great. I will basically start from that, and I think it's really good for the tests. Also, I can test the skin tones, if everything is right with my paper, with my enlarger, with like whole process, because it's more tricky shot, you know, like to basically have everything ready for the portraits. And all the time skin tones can be a little bit off and everything can be a little bit messed up. But let's see what I can do. This is film what I developed with the new Fuji Hunt kit, and I think it's really great. I don't see any reasons why it should be bad. I have incredible success with this thing. And only one downside of this negative folder, and that is how I still have this rainbow effect. So basically what I have here is a problem with the Newton rings. I already can see them, and because the film is kind of a, you know, too flat, and I probably need to clean everything and clean negative carrier, and this is what I will do now. And sometimes actually the pure cleanness from the hand oil, which you can remove with the acetone from the glass, helps you to remove Newton rings almost completely from your picture, or 99.999%, which is crazy cool. So do not forget about this trick also. So this is actually my improvised paper safe made from the lights box, which is also funny. And I just taped the hole on the bottom with the black tape to just protect it from the light. And this is actually for past 2 years was my magic black box for the paper which I use. I don't trust it with the old papers, and I also don't trust it with the paper without black foil on top, but it actually works. I don't see any huge problems with it, so it's kind of fine. You can DIY it and it's quite nice and still works. So let's try to load the paper in my test printer and just make a few test prints and see if everything is works paper-wise. So basically I will try to make the full prints, and as always I will use a test printer. Basically we'll just load it up and find exposure for the full print, basically for portion of me here, and I will probably also crop it to the proper size what I see in the final picture. I'm not sure if my easel is set up correctly, so I will find the picture what I usually print and just scale it to the proper size what I usually use. So the easel is correct. I have everything set it up, and I think I don't need anything more. So let's start with a test print. Let's load the test print, and I think my bath is already on a proper temperature. Let me check. Yeah, it's 36.5. It's a little bit hot, but I think it's okay for the first tests. We can adjust it a little bit later without any problems, and it should work. I think it should work. I loaded up the paper in a drum, and now it's time for the final test. And I don't remember what is the actual timing for array 4, but hopefully I have it in my multi-timer. Everybody also asking which timer I'm using, and it's called multi-timer app. It's for Android and for the iPhone, so you can use it for both. And for paper, I use it 45 seconds. And this a little bit high. I think it's 30 seconds, but let's see. Let's see how it goes with just 45 seconds and development on paper. And for development, I also will just use the gloves, put a little bit, rotate, rinse and repeat. But first I need to refill my water for rinsing because I have nothing. So at the moment camera is unfortunately discharged, so it's not recorded last part. But I put the solution inside and I will flop the lid and will develop for 45 seconds with the rotation. And I always pull the chemicals back. They're reusable, so you probably can use it for like 20-30 development, something like this. I make a steps by 3 seconds, and I also set up on the Enlarger 60-60-0, so kind of a neutral settings, and I hope it will be fine for the first development in a long time in my life. So this is why I need a silicone something here, because it's always wet and I don't like this wet condition all the time. So this is why I put the microfiber here, but the microfiber cloth is also not the perfect solution what I want to see. First solution is off. Second solution is going in. Start the timer. So the solution is a little bit hot, but in the same time I know, because I'm not preheating the drum, it will be not perfect temperature. So with like 1 degree offset, maybe you need even more to just have a normal, you know, exposure and normal development times. And yeah, I think it should be fine. And okay, you usually cannot over bleach it, so if you put it a little bit longer, it doesn't matter. But development, it matters, but also for paper, in general, you can be sloppy. You can be sloppy, you can do whatever you want. Also with washing, especially for the test prints, like, I don't really care. Do not waste your time. Time, for me at least, is more precious than the result for the test prints, like the longevity and so on. Yes, for the final print, I like to wash it properly, and it's not fiber print. So, like, keep it in mind, I have prints which is like a year old or even more, or like 3 years old already, and they fine. They fine. They just stored there. They on my walls. Nothing will happen. They perfectly fine. This technology is so reliable and so old that's just, come on, just don't care. And I even see that the chemicals is so robust. It's just human factor is stupid, but it's okay. We will survive on that. So let's see if I have any results on my test prints. And voila, I have something. Something reddish and something underexposed. So this is my result from the test print. It looks horrible, honestly, and I think it's too red for some reason, which is also quite interesting. So I need one more stop of light at least, so I will open the aperture from f16 to f11 and do exactly the same, but I will put probably filters to 70 and see what will happen from that, and I hope it will fix the whole situation. So the next development round, and I definitely need to buy the charger for the camera because it starts shutting off, and it's actually quite annoying to do the same two processes as filming and battling with the camera. So I will try to avoid it in future. So I need to buy additional power bank or something like this to hook up the camera to, and don't have these problems anymore. And I want to directly hook it up to the power bank to have infinite basically amount of power connected to the camera itself. So development is done. And now bleach fix, and after bleach fix I will just rinse it and will test. And for today I think I will finish, because it's already too late and it was like 3 hours almost what I spent in the cleaning here and in the darkroom and whatsoever, all type of things. But at least I make a first test print. Yes, it looks ugly, but it's a first start, and from this start everything starts. So I can officially say I rebooted my darkroom, and now I can print something, which is quite good and quite funny. And I need to bring back my 3D printer probably, and also I bought the magnets for the test printer. It means I will make a prototype of the version 3 of the test printer, which is actually with the magnetic assistance opening and closing. And if I have a mood to doing that, I will basically print it, finish it, and also make it accessible through the coffee. And some of the guys actually like it, and thank you so much for supporting my coffee and buying my small 3D stuff or getting some 3D stuff for free, because some of them I just put it on internet for everybody's entertainment. So this is just, you know, one good thing that you can support me like that, and I also feel that you have something which you can take from me and basically give me reward for my work. And I just here trying to help you as much as I can, because like this is a small art, we have a small community, but it's a really strong community. If I was not here for the half year and you still watching this is just amazing, guys. I don't know, sounds crazy cool. So thank you for what you're doing for me. And I officially made the first test print, and it works, and this is how it looks like. It's a little bit yellowish, but you can see part of my face here, and I think I need something here in the middle and correct for the yellow for some reason. Maybe it's a little bit off from the negative, but this is how it works. This is a color correction. I'm not sure why the contrast is a little bit low on this picture, but it can be that it is a color contrast. This is also the thing what can happen with the just film, because I also looked only on the scans, and as you can imagine, scans can have completely different contrast that you think, especially if you correct them, and especially if you correct them with the multiple things at the same time. So your print is actually the true answer for what you have in your basically art as a photographer. And your scans is like, yeah, okay, you can do a lot of things with the scans which is not actually connected to your negatives. And I'm for the mixture here. So I need to be clear that I honestly adore mixture of two technologies, that it's at the same time fully analog and at the same time it's digital processing, because it's give all opportunities, it's give you all the vibe and the sense of material, but in the same time you actually fixing a lot of stuff which Darkroom cannot fix. And I really like this mixture of the two things, but I also like the order how it goes. So your film should be good, the initial material should be good, and you just improve it later and do not fix it later. This is my kind of a philosophy about that. But I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching once again. I will be back in the darkroom, and I see I slowly getting in a tempo, and I really like what is going here in my darkroom so far. It's a little bit tough. I spent some money for chemicals which I don't need, but I found the motivation to actually clean up my darkroom box for the paper, and actually probably print some storage for the paper inside. And I will make some projects from this, I think. So in only one limitation, what I cannot do is the size of the paper. For big paper, I think I cannot do anything, but also I can imagine that I can fix even that. I just need to think about it. Because the size is actually for my big 3D printer, so I'm not sure. Maybe I will take the project like this. Yeah, let me think about it. It's only problem with the gaps there, but you can solve it with the design and with the magnets. It's not like a big problem for the 3D printing. Yeah, thank you for watching. Once again, if you want to help the channel, you have a coffee link down below. Just buy me a coffee or say thank you in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. I also have an Instagram. Somebody asked the questions there. I'm not always getting them, unfortunately, because of the Instagram, unfortunately. And I'm thinking like to create the channel in Telegram. I'm not sure if everyone using Telegram, it's more like Russian thing to use a Telegram. For me, it's a common thing. It's the best messenger ever, especially with the channels and with the discussions. So just put in a comment below if you want something like Discord. I don't know, never used it. And if you want to discuss something and you just don't really have a framework for that, I'm actually thinking to make something like that to connect the Discord to my coffee, to collect the members and the people who is actually involved in the art. It's my dream thing. I think I don't really have a lot of people for that. But anyway, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time.